What's up guys, welcome back. This is Anime Crossover. You'll be watching What If Naruto Was Chosen to Become a Dragon God by Kurama Part 1. Now, let's begin. In the city of Gotham, a location characterized by a significant presence of criminal activity permeating its streets. Individuals like the Joker were instigating disorder wherever they went. When the situation appeared dire for the city, a figure known as Batman emerged to ensure the safety of its citizens. Nevertheless, the individual was categorized as a vigilante and regarded as a criminal for assuming control of the law independently. However, rather than taking lives, Batman has consistently adhered to a principle of non-lethality, a commitment that has shaped him into the heroic figure he is recognized as today. Following the surge in Batman's popularity, individuals started to recognize that he was not the sole superhero safeguarding the cities, as another figure emerged known as Superman. The formidable alien known for safeguarding Metropolis was widely recognized for his extraordinary abilities, including super strength and the capacity to fly at remarkable speeds. The landscape appeared to be dominated by the emergence of superheroes and villains, as they proliferated in every direction. As the demand increased, an organization known as the Justice League emerged. Individuals from various regions of the world convened to collaboratively address challenges that were beyond the capacity of a single person. The organization received a range of perspectives. However, it is a clear reality that the people of Earth can depend on this group of heroes to protect them from various threats. Batman took great pride in monitoring potential members, yet there was one young man who remained entirely unnoticed. He possessed short golden blonde hair, featuring a single braid that draped across his left cheek. His eyes were a striking blue, complemented by whiskers on his face. The man's features were striking, and he possessed a tall stature, measuring an impressive 6'3". He possessed lean, compact muscles, devoid of any excess fat, retaining only the necessary components. He had the potential to pursue a modeling career, particularly given his straight eyebrows and chiseled jawline. However, how could such an individual remain concealed? He was, in fact, not born in this world. He was transferred there without his consent. Instead of working towards building a new life, the young man was squandering his potential in a dilapidated apartment complex situated in an undesirable neighborhood. Aspects like security and reliable electricity were regarded as luxuries in that area, with homeless individuals often residing in the dimly lit alleyways. A location characterized by distress and despair, evident in the weary expressions of all present. I find this situation quite frustrating. The man with golden hair awoke in a subpar bed, surrounded by an array of alcohol bottles. Another day has arrived. The man let out a groan as he gradually emerged from bed, surveying his apartment while shielding his eyes from the sunlight streaming through the window. His apartment was in disarray. Trash bags and bottles scattered about, creating an impression of neglect akin to a personal dumpster. Many individuals might question how someone could exist in such conditions, but with his present mindset, he remained indifferent. Some might argue that a home reflects the owner's personality, and is certainly conveyed a negative impression. However, even if someone were to highlight the issue, it would likely go unacknowledged, as he has been maintaining this lifestyle for several months now. He possessed the mental maturity of a 24-year-old while his physical appearance reflected that of an 18-year-old. Ascend. A peculiar voice resonated in his ears. Please be quiet. I am not interested in pursuing that direction or any related activities. Please give me some space. He raised his voice. Elevate to the highest standards. Elevate. 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 The voice persisted, compelling the man to clutch his hair and perspire from his forehead. Ascend, I requested that you cease immediately. He emitted a loud roar that reverberated throughout the entire apartment complex, leading its residents to believe an earthquake was occurring. Shortly thereafter, the tremor ceased, and the individual reclined on his bed. These powers are proving to be a significant burden. He exhaled deeply, applying pressure to his forehead. The responsibility lies with you. A sudden knock on the door was followed by the voice of a woman. Naruto. Please be reminded that your rent payment is due. I require it. She insisted while persistently knocking on the door. Naruto. I am aware of your presence. Please open the door promptly, or I will have to contact my brother. For months. There is a limited amount remaining, but it should suffice for a little while longer. He persisted in examining the contents of the ring mentally until he discovered a small stack of money. Approximately 3,000 remaining, I will be adequately prepared for the next 2 months." He quietly expressed his surprise as $400 bills unexpectedly materialized in his hand. "Naruto." The woman called once more, her tone reflecting noticeable impatience. "I am on my way." Naruto responded assertively, promptly approaching the door and opening it. "Oh." The woman at the door, who was short and petite, was the younger sister of the apartment owner responsible for collecting rent payments. She had a charming demeanor and would be an excellent companion, were it not for her attitude. "I appreciate your response." She expressed her discontent, crossing her arms while a faint blush colored her cheeks. Her gaze fixated on his physique, and she found herself momentarily lost in thought before regaining her composure. "Do you possess it?" she inquired with a feigned cough. "If you do not, I eek." Naruto abruptly took her hand and placed the bills into it before retreating to his room, firmly closing the door behind him. The woman with brown hair was uncertain about her thoughts, but his reaction incited a sense of fury within her. "Do not assume that your appearance grants you the right to treat me in this manner." She placed her hand over her mouth, her face flushing as she recognized that she had just admitted to Naruto that he appeared attractive. "Alisa, this is unacceptable. Please be mindful of your words. It is unfortunate to see an individual of such caliber in a setting like this. And how does his body, forget it." She declined and proceeded to gather the rent from the other tenants. Alisa would remain unaware that the reason Naruto continued to look exceptional after all these months was due to the power he received upon his reincarnation. Naruto did not perish due to a dramatic accident or similar circumstances, rather, he succumbed simply because he neglected to take care of himself. The individual became a NEET in his previous world following the loss of Jiraiya. Initially, Team 7 visited him, and he would deceive them, asserting that he was okay. However, he was not, and in reality, he was enduring hardship, as Jiraiya was the only family he had remaining in that world. As the years passed, he utilized Jiraiya's remaining funds to cover takeout meals and manage his bills, all while remaining inactive in his residence. Ultimately, his body could no longer endure this detrimental lifestyle and succumbed. Similar to his thoughts. Rather than anticipating nothing, Naruto encountered Kurama directly, who transformed into a magnificent golden dragon. A chilling scenario, albeit he remained entirely indifferent to his feelings. The dragon towered like a skyscraper, rendering Naruto insignificant in comparison, akin to an ant that could be easily dispatched with a mere poke. "You will assume the role of my successor." Kurama addressed him with a commanding voice, its immense red eyes scrutinizing him intently. Naruto wished to decline right away, yet for some reason, he found himself unable to articulate his thoughts. "You will possess the passion of my heart, the intensity of my claws, and the power of my scales. You will be the individual who rises above the highest of peaks. You will rise to great heights and fulfill my intentions." In an instant, he discovered himself immersed in the realm of DC. He recognized instantly as he locked eyes with an individual clad in a bat suit, pursuing a man in clown attire. For a brief instant, he entertained the notion that he might embody the qualities of a hero and realize the aspirations he had long cherished. What was the purpose of it all? Despite this opportunity, he remained hesitant to move forward, ultimately finding himself still alone. He adapted to his circumstances and maintained his existing lifestyle as a NEET. "Elevate your position. I am not familiar with this cultivation topic. Please allow me some space." Naruto quietly murmured, shutting his eyes to rest through another day. Eventually, he succumbed to sleep, and soon he awoke to total darkness as his body drifted endlessly through the void. "Why do you exhibit weakness?" a familiar voice inquired. "I would appreciate some space at this time." Naruto let out a powerful roar. "Why do you feel the need to concede? Do you not believe that sufficient time has passed? You are my successor." "I had no intention of becoming your successor. You compelled me and brought me back to life in this perilous realm. It was. Help, someone. Please distance yourself from me. Someone help me." A sudden voice pierced the silence, rousing Naruto from his sleep. The sound emanating from downstairs was unmistakably associated with Alisa. Naruto then looked at the clock on his bedside, noting that it was now several minutes past 7 p.m. Insufficient duration. He murmured softly and attempted to return to slumber. An unfeeling decision, yet he did not feel compelled to assist the girl. That is until... Naruto, I require assistance. Alisa summoned him. This is frustrating. He expressed his frustration, gritting his teeth as he rose from his bed once more. It would be inaccurate to claim that he has not assisted anyone since his arrival in this world, as it was through his contributions that he was able to obtain this room without an ID. He rescued Alisa and her older brother from a local gang that was extorting them for protection money they did not have. Naruto had even considered walking away at that point, as it appeared to be overly burdensome. However, Alisa observed him a few feet away from the incident, her eyes conveying a desperate plea for assistance. The urgency, apprehension, and a hint of optimism in her gaze ignited a response within him, prompting him to take action. As Naruto descended the steps, he observed Alisa being forcibly taken by a robust individual, accompanied by 4 others, on the first floor of the apartment complex. Please release me. Alisa exclaimed as she exerted all her effort to free herself from the man's hold around her waist. Charming and spirited. Exactly as I prefer them. The robust individual remarked, moistening his lips. I assure you, the discomfort is only experienced during the initial instance. Ha ha ha. He shared a light-hearted moment as the men around him joined in the laughter. The comment provoked a strong reaction from the brunette, who clenched her teeth as her mind raced. Ultimately, she resolved to respond assertively, fully aware of the potential repercussions. Alisa swiftly adjusted her position, ensuring she was perfectly aligned and... Chomp. She exerted significant pressure on the man's left ear. Ah. The robust individual expressed his discomfort vocally. Release. However, Alisa maintained her grip and began to tug on it with a ferocity reminiscent of a wild animal, effectively tearing away a substantial portion. The individual promptly releases Alisa to attend to his injured ear, expressing his pain with heightened vocalizations. You are being quite difficult. Are you aware of my identity? I have a connection to the penguin. Alisa swiftly rose to her feet, expelling the blood and the fragment of his ear at the man's foot. He can take his leave. She frowned, cleaning the blood from her face with the sleeve of her shirt. It is unacceptable for men to resort to violence against her. However, please refrain from harming her. I intend to ensure she deeply regrets her existence. Following the command, the 4 men accompanying him began to encircle the girl, their expressions marked by sinister smiles. I welcome the challenge. She positioned her fists defensively in front of her face, expressing her determination. Alisa may not have been a fighter by profession, but she possessed knowledge that would help her safeguard herself in this environment. The group advanced simultaneously, coordinating their efforts as they confronted the 54 white woman. Alisa skillfully evaded the incoming punches by maintaining her distance before executing a precise sweep kick, successfully toppling 2 of the assailants. Please proceed. She is a petite young lady. Apprehend her immediately. The robust individual shouted as the 2 other men lunged at her to overwhelm her with their combined weight. Alisa promptly closed her eyes, bracing herself for the anticipated pain, aware that she lacked the speed to evade it. However, fortune seemed to favor her in that moment. Who are you? The burly man inquired, his voice trembling. Alisa opened her eyes to find a tall man with striking blonde hair standing before her, effortlessly holding the assailants who had lunged at her by their necks. Naruto. She expressed her relief with a smile as she rose back to her feet. She glanced at his strong back through his black muscle shirt and began to recall the first time he rescued her from danger. Please depart. Naruto stated firmly, directing a sharp gaze at the 3 other men while effortlessly holding the 200-pound individuals in his grip as if they were mere children. Are you not aware of my identity? I-12 robust individual halted as his gaze met the intense red eyes of the brunette's assistant. In that moment, the men understood the sensation of being prey, faced with a predator and devoid of any escape options. The abrupt awareness led to an unpleasant odor emanating from his trousers as a yellow stain appeared beneath him. We will manage this, sir. The 2 other men stated as they revealed pistols concealed beneath their jackets. Please hold on. However, the men had commenced firing at Naruto, disregarding the presence of the other 2 individuals he was holding. As anticipated, the men served as shields for Naruto, absorbing the shots directed at him. The The two were unable to make even a sound of distress as Naruto's grip constricted their necks, and within moments, they were riddled with wounds, swiftly succumbing to lifelessness in his hold. Humph. Naruto then propelled their lifeless corpses towards their killers with sufficient force to send them all soaring. The front entrance, constructed of glass, shattered abruptly, dispersing fragments across the street. I find this situation quite frustrating. The two survivors grimaced in discomfort as they maneuvered their deceased companions away from their bodies. While they may lack super strength or any extraordinary abilities, their athleticism allowed them to recover swiftly. GUH. However, before they could discharge their firearms once more, they encountered the same circumstances as before. Naruto was now elevating their 400-pound leader while nonchalantly traversing the shards of glass with his bare feet. "I will allow you 3 seconds to relinquish your weapons," Naruto stated with a serious expression. "Or I will take decisive action against him and ensure your demise as well." It took only one of them to drop their weapons and surrender, which was somewhat surprising to him. "Proceed with him." Naruto halted and turned his head as a dark object narrowly evaded him. Whoosh! Ding! The object was metallic and notably sharp as it penetrated the concrete ground, indicating it was a bat-inspired weapon. Batman. Naruto quietly observed the prominent batarang, then shifted his gaze to the figure atop a nearby building, clad in a bat suit. "Release the individual," Batman instructed as he descended to the ground. "I was already doing that," Naruto said with a frown, releasing the man. The robust individual inhaled deeply as he was assisted to his feet by his subordinates. "This will have consequences," the robust individual remarked, massaging his neck as he began to flee alongside his associates. "Please proceed with caution." Batman swiftly accessed his utility belt, retrieving a grapple gun. Bang! The grapple launched at high velocities, swiftly closing in on the escaping individuals as its cable ensnared their bodies before Batman executed a pull. Ah! In a rapid and decisive action, all 3 individuals were brought to the ground, their bodies securely restrained as they experienced a surge of electricity coursing through them, further incapacitating their movements. The authorities are expected to arrive shortly. However, at this point, Batman focused intently on the golden-haired man who stood confidently on shards of glass, displaying no signs of discomfort. "Could you please identify yourself?" That marked the beginning of Naruto's encounter with one of his idols. However, he remained motionless and silent, gazing blankly at the individual recognized by all as the Dark Knight of Gotham. Response: "Please hold on. He resides here," Alisa called out, gesturing with her hands as she approached him swiftly. "He saved me, Mr. Batman." The hero was already aware of this, but understanding his nature, he utilized the capabilities of his cowl to access the Bat computer in his lair to retrieve information about this individual. However, there was no information available about him, and his trained instincts indicated that this individual posed a significant threat. "I will need to." Batman cautiously extended his hand toward his utility belt, pausing as the sound of police sirens filled the air. "We have not yet completed our work," he stated, retracting the grapple that encircled the unconscious individuals before directing it towards a nearby building and vanishing into the night. "Naruto." Alisa directed her attention towards him. "I will manage the situation with law enforcement. Please take a moment to retreat to your room, if you would," she said, firmly grasping his hand as she looked intently into his eyes. The brunette was aware that he was undocumented and lacked any form of identification. The police would conduct an inquiry and seek to ascertain his identity, and upon discovering the truth, he would be required to depart. Alisa contemplated, gently biting her lower lip. She is unlikely to acknowledge it in the near future, but she harbored feelings for the man. However, Naruto seldom ventured beyond his room, which was not conducive to gaining a deeper understanding of an individual. Nonetheless, her feelings for him remained unchanged since the moment they first met. Naruto exhaled softly and acknowledged with a nod before returning to his room, allowing the girl to engage with the arriving police officers. Upon arrival, they promptly apprehended the surviving individuals and requested an investigator to examine the deceased bodies. During this time, Naruto was collecting all of his possessions using his item storage ring. He utilized it to dispose of his waste, transforming the previously cluttered room into a pristine space in mere seconds. What was his motivation for this action? He possesses a wealth of experience. Naruto was aware that the police would likely inquire with the apprehended individuals regarding the events that transpired, and there was a possibility that they would disclose information. The authorities will return, and I will need to address the situation. It may be more prudent for me to leave, perhaps I should have taken more drastic measures. He exhaled thoughtfully. Perhaps I have spent enough time in this state already. Upon completion of his tasks, he composed a brief note and placed it by his open door, as he transitioned from his previous attire to a distinctive black leather uniform paired with knee-high combat boots. The uniform featured no sleeves and included a hood designed to conceal his face from onlookers. "Farewell," he said quietly, opening the window before vanishing into the night. Almost an hour later, Alisa ascended the stairs to check on Naruto, but upon her arrival, she observed that his door was slightly ajar. "Is that Naruto?" She quietly opened the door wider, revealing a completely empty room, devoid of any indications of Naruto's presence. What? Alisa struggled to comprehend the situation unfolding before her and began to feel a sense of panic until she noticed a note on the floor. No. No. She gradually picked up the note and began to read as tears welled in her eyes. Upon completing her reading, she swiftly descended the stairs, fully aware that the individual known as Naruto had departed. Hold on a moment. A man with a bald head, bearing a slight resemblance to Alisa, embraced her, preventing her from advancing. Where are you headed in such a hurry? Will you not inform your brother about the events that transpired? Absolutely not. He has departed. I must locate him immediately. Alisa wept uncontrollably as she attempted to free herself from her brother's embrace. Who is Naruto? I appreciate the individual, however, isn't it beneficial that he is no longer present? This apartment is in a state of disrepair, but 12 unexpectedly struck her brother's face while fixing him with a stern glare. You. Alisa's brother was taken aback by his sister's actions and ultimately released her. Observing her brother's astonished expression, Alisa felt her emotions intensify, leading to an increase in her tears as her reasoning aligned with her feelings. The brunette gradually descended to her knees, overcome with emotion as the reality of the situation became apparent. She was unlikely to locate Naruto at this hour, particularly given his statement that he would not be returning. Naruto's correspondence. If you are reading this letter, please be informed that I am no longer present. I am currently uncertain about my destination, so I am unable to provide that information at this time. And who is the culprit? He was quickly nearing the bridge on his way to Wayne Manor, but instead of his typical nonchalant posture, he was visibly irritated. Not because he was warned off by the Golden Dragon, but because he was correct. He had already considered terminating his period of inactivity, but if the chance arose, he knew he would return to his customary activities. Why does he have to be right? Naruto snarled between his clenched teeth before leaping down from a building when no one was looking and walking along the walkway that goes up to the city's shoreline, with the bridge not far away. The bridge was immense, with connected towers that appeared to be inspired by a medieval castle, and it spanned across the river that feeds into the vast ocean to his right. Naruto felt a cold air brush over his skin as he reached the edge, which helped to calm him down. He then gazed at the water to see his reflection, which was of a guy who did not resemble his former body. Naruto never had red eyes and was nowhere near that gorgeous. The old guy was as untidy as a prototypical NEET. His new physique can jump hundreds of feet in the air and lift thousands of pounds effortlessly. He possessed a physique that most people could only dream of. But him simply squandering everything. I was fortunate to get several things, yet all I wanted to do was hide. Couldn't I just commit suicide if I didn't want to live any longer? Why am I even here? Naruto began to recall something. 10 years ago. In a middle-class suburban area, there was a cul-de-sac where the kids would play after school or on weekends. All of the kids knew each other from their parents' occasional reunions, so it was easy for them to become friends. But everyone appeared to avoid one youngster on a daily basis, and his name was Naruto. Instead of going outside to play, he moaned regretfully and watched from the front window. Flashback to the end. Fuck. Naruto swore beneath his breath as he remembered his past existence. Thinking about it more, he realized he didn't exactly stay tied up in his room all day and slipped out to buy newspapers about ninja exploits. What man wouldn't consider doing anything like that? So, a man in my circumstance. The DC universe is somewhat intimidating, but this would be like living in a fairy tale, right? Shouldn't I enjoy it? Naruto thought aloud. What would Jiraiya say? He wondered as he looked at his mirror. That is, until he noticed something else. Back in his former world, he would pass the time by learning how to handle Konoha, farms, and businesses. But he also kept a secret about having a girlfriend from another area. No. No, I definitely did not. He murmured and gripped his hair. I didn't want that at all. Wait, does that mean I saved Alisa too? Ugh. There's nothing wrong with seeking a significant other. I'm surprised you haven't had that yet. That. A series of enormous explosions go out in the distance, disrupting Naruto's whole cognitive process. Stay out of trouble, huh? Naruto muttered as he subconsciously shifted his foot towards the sound of devastation. When he hears the communicator make a noise, he stops his walk to look at it. Naruto gazed at it for a long time before doing something he never imagined he would. Crush. He pulverized the gadget to powder in his palms. This is my life I've been given, no more hiding. In an area remote but near to Naruto, a giant golden dragon lay utterly alone. The proud dragon was very similar to a Chinese dragon, with a huge body that stretched for miles and culminated in a whip-like tail. It had golden diamond-shaped scales all over its body, and spikes ran down the center of its back. Two massive wings adorned the upper portion of his muscular back, next to the narrow arms that contained 3 lethal claws. Was it right to motivate him that way? The dragon said as he glided across the nothingness. No, but I must do my work, I must, all who have betrayed me. He said as he looked up. They will all perish. The dragon roared, shaking even the darkness with its incredible force. I'll start training after this. But you know I'm not going to like it. Naruto frowned as he considered. You should have decided this ages ago. After all this time, I still don't know your name. Naruto had no idea who was responsible for sending him to this realm, and he had never cared before. The dragon cleared its throat and began speaking his name. My name is Kurama. The dragon. Okay, I'll call you Kurama. Naruto thought, interrupting the dragon before they could continue their introduction. Kurama became enraged when someone below him gave him a moniker. You dare give me a nickname? Me? He roared. Naruto shrugged and continued, well, since you basically said I should live by my own rules, I decided to do what I want. And I want to call you Kurama. You ungrateful bastard. I demand the respect I deserve. If Kurama could burn the ungrateful brat into ashes, he would have done it already. Maybe later. Naruto giggled, which caused the dragon to scream curses after curses with no indications of stopping. You. I swear, you better hope that I don't get my claws on you. Kurama yelled again. Yeah, well, after all this time, you haven't, so I'm guessing you can't, Naruto said, tossing the dust from Batman's communicator into the air and taking a big breath. It feels like I'm breathing for the first time. He mumbled, a smile pasted on his face. He quickly threw his hood over his head to conceal his face and rushed toward the sounds of explosions and gunshots. He had no idea what he was getting into, yet after all these years, he felt alive. And he planned to take advantage of that mood. Naruto arrived at the place in a couple of minutes due to his fast speed. He couldn't run as fast as the Flash, but he could outrun a top-tier racehorse for several miles if he chose. The place occurred to be a decrepit amusement park that appeared to have been abandoned for a long time. The previously lively and exciting attractions were run down and rusted, giving the area an eerie atmosphere. When Naruto saw it in its entirety, he recognized it wasn't just any abandoned amusement park. This was the Amusement Mile. As in the base, the Joker appears multiple times in several DC realms. He never fully comprehended the Joker since it was difficult to comprehend his insane infatuation with Batman. But someone had a strange fascination with him, and they were now battling a bunch of individuals. She was surrounded by the Joker's thugs, who vary in size but all wore clown masks or makeup to match the villain's motif. Everything the Joker owned or used had to be terrifying clown-related because it was a part of him, much like the Bat was to Bruce Wayne. Mr. J will find this area in bits when he returns. So please, fuck off. A young woman spoke with a heavy New Jersey accent as she smashed one of the Joker's henchmen teeth with the enormous mallet she swung about with ease. Only one person would address the Joker by such name, and that person was Harley Quinn. A former doctor becomes the Joker's right hand and girlfriend. However, the years have not been kind to her. Suffering with the Joker's violent conduct, as well as his weird crush on Batman for so long, has ultimately driven her over the brink. Her generally pristine black and red jester outfit was already shredded in numerous places, and her makeup was smudged with tears that streamed from her beautiful blue eyes. If you take away the craziness, you're left with a 20-something-year-old lady with a blazing gorgeous physique and an excellent brain who earned a Doctor of Philosophy. But removing the insanity would be like making Batman laugh. It just cannot be done easy, and you may not like the results. And you certainly wouldn't like Batman if he laughed. Ever know how the mole feels in Whack-A-Mole? She yelled and slammed her mallet into another goon's head with all her strength. Bam! Naruto's ears picked up an unholy cracking sounds as the goon's skull was busted wide open, with blood gushing out of the opening, causing him to slump over and drop out right away. He was not going to survive much longer. It's like that. She grinned as she continued to attack the other guys, dispatching them one by one with a stroke of her bleeding mallet. Naruto's eyes widened as he observed the conflict. So, Harley Quinn is attempting to break up with the Joker now, but didn't she have help with Naruto observed another goon being hurled like a football before crashing into an abandoned concession booth with a horrific thud. And shortly, a beautiful woman with pale green skin appeared, along with numerous more Joker's minions entangled in growing vines that slowly crushed them to death. She was tidy and peaceful, in contrast to the dirty and frantic Harley. She had beautiful red hair that extended over her shoulders and forest green eyes that complemented her one-piece outfit embroidered with vines and leaves. The woman's model face and figure, along with her long, lovely legs and big thighs, could soon make men forget her unusual appearance. "Who are you?" the redhead inquired in a naturally pleasant tone that belonged to none other than the evil Poison Ivy. "Pamela, she fights for the right cause, but in all the wrong ways, although she did spin out of control on multiple occasions." Naruto thought as he examined her up and down. She was a character he liked in many ways, and it was difficult not to gaze. Harley spots Naruto after hearing Pamela and, given her mental condition, hurries over to him with her mallet, ready to crush him into next week. However, Naruto just moves out of the path while extending his foot out quickly than she can blink, tripping the villainess without hesitation. Oof. Harley moans in pain as she falls face first into the ground, tasting dirt and rapidly spitting it out. Sorry, reflex," he replied with a shrug. "Why you?" Before she could stand up, Pamela had directed her vines to assault the mystery Naruto, wrapping them around his body and bringing him towards her. Pamela considered it unusual that the men in front of her did not even try to escape her hold, which raised a few red flags in her mind. "Who are you? You are not one of the Joker's goons." She spoke while scrutinizing the men in front of her. Pamela wanted to know what was below his hood, but she was being cautious. "I am simply passing by. I became curious after hearing explosions." Naruto responded calmly. Like this." She demonstrated a little detonator in her right palm before pushing the button. Another sequence of explosions occurs, adding to the wreckage and flames in the backdrop. Naruto nodded, "Exactly like that. I thought I could start my hero career with this, but it appears I'm not required," he remarked with a clearly phony laugh. "Justice League," she yelled, boosting her guard. "Oh no." Naruto shakes his head. "I kinda wanna do my own thing." He admitted to being unsure about himself. "What did I want to do? Become a vigilante among vigilantes? I'm sure Batman is on his way after the communicator was destroyed, unless he is. No surprise they chose this period. The Joker is probably fighting it out with him right now." He pondered as he stroked his chin. "Do you know who I am?" she questioned with a small pout, bringing her face uncomfortably near. "Poison Ivy. One of Gotham's well-known villains." Naruto responded as his thinking became hazy, and Pamela began to appear more attractive than usual. However, that feeling dissipated as swiftly as it appeared, revealing that Poison Ivy was employing her pheromone control on him. Is that how it feels? Are you stupid, or something? What are you doing? Attack her." Kurama yelled in his head. "Attack? I really don't want to. They're not doing anything wrong, sort of," he responded after discovering they were continuing killing people. "Those are bad individuals." Grr. You are resistant to some sorts of mind control and poisons. But at your stage, you can only take so much. Kurama yelled again. Oh. Do you understand the situation that you're in? Pamela inquired, touching his chin as she directed her vines to remove his hood for her. Yes, I fully understand. Naruto nodded, easily removing his right hand from Pamela's vines, surprising her, and before she knew it, he was free of her hold. What? She instructed her vines to grab him once more, but every time she got close, he would change places in the blink of an eye. Random thing to say, but I kind of admire you. You're doing a terrific job, but only you and a few others can grasp your vision. Naruto responded with a small nod. She paused her efforts and gave him a puzzled look. Just kill him and get it over with. Harley hissed as she rapidly dispatched the remainder of Joker's thugs. The location did not include all of Joker's men, but there were enough to witness one writhing in pain or dead on the ground in every direction you glanced. Harley, let me handle this. Pamela waves her hand. Go bring the car around. We've been here long enough. She spoke as Harley walked away, muttering to herself. Consider my curiosity piqued, boy. Pamela grinned as her formerly green complexion gradually became white with a healthy shine. Pamela remained beautiful despite her skin change, but if Naruto was truly honest, he preferred her to be green. Now, you say you understand me. But does this imply you agree with my methods? She remarked, dropping her voice slightly to make the most of her natural seduction ability. Even if her desire in him grew when he slipped her hands, she wasn't going to believe his statements. Plants were the only things she could truly trust. She will never place herself in a position where she must trust another human guy. Not again. Your methods are a bit extreme. Of course a human would never understand. Pama glared, about to direct her vines to crush the guy in front of her, when she was distracted by a loud bang. A sleek, pink convertible with a vanity plate reading Rosebud entered the amusement park, driven by a mad Harley. Move it or lose it, bud. She shouted as she drove right for Naruto. She intended to run him over. Naruto halted it with a single hand. Whoa, this is a nice car. Naruto exclaimed, appreciating the small pink automobile. But it isn't even yours, and you're attempting to ruin it. That's not good. He remarked, waving his index finger and thought about a particular blue hedgehog. What? Harley couldn't believe her eyes when the men she meant to run over just stopped her advance, in a car. Is he like Superman? I'm already doing nearly 60 miles per hour. She thought, pressing her foot on the pedal to accelerate. Unfortunately, no matter how quickly she drove, the automobile wouldn't move an inch, and the tires began to burn. Pamela was astonished as well, but her attention was diverted to something else, specifically someone pulling out a pistol. Harley. The unexpected happened. One of Joker's thugs, who was meant to be dead, unexpectedly sprung up and leveled his weapon at Harley. Bang. The bullet exited the chamber and flew directly toward the villainous head as soon as the trigger was pulled. Normally, the bullet would go to its destination in seconds, but for Naruto, it went considerably slower. He didn't know what he was doing at the moment, but as soon as he saw the man pull the trigger, the energy in his body began to circulate at a rapid pace. His crimson eyes blinked only once as his body reacted nearly quicker than he could think, darting to the driver's side of the automobile and covering Harley's body with his own while simultaneously keeping the car in place. During the process, his hood would fly back, showing his face to the astonished Harley, who had just witnessed her life flash before her eyes. You idiot. Naruto heard Kurama yell at him and was ready to respond with, "It's just a bullet," when it impacted his back. But a few seconds later, he felt a horrible sensation, and before long, he passed out on the floor. Harley pulled off the gas just as Pamela used her vines to trap and kill the assailant who fired the gunshot. Did he just take the bullet for me? Harley muttered, hurriedly putting the car in park and jumping out to check on the unconscious man she planned to kill only seconds before. She was already emotionally stretched from parting up with Joker, and witnessing someone go the extra mile for her sparked something within her. Just forget him and let's go, Pamela remarked as she climbed into the passenger seat of the automobile. The former Joker's girlfriend disregarded the redhead, instead focused on Naruto's lovely face and placing her head against his large chest. His pulse was strong and regular. Hearing the sound relaxed her as his chest went up and down with his breathing. After a few seconds of listening, she did something that astonished Pamela. She grabbed his arm and lifted his hefty bulk onto her back as she got on her feet. What? What do you think you are doing? Pamela grimaced. I'm taking him. She responded. Huh? I'm taking him. She said again as she threw him into the car. You're not serious, are you? Pamela knew the girl was weird, but not like this. Harley just disregarded the woman and got back into the driver's seat. Oh God, you are serious. An hour after Naruto's comatose corpse was hauled away in the backseat of a car, the base's owner returned. The Joker had finally evaded Batman and arrived to his headquarters, only to find it burned to the ground and his henchman's lifeless body spread around. Ha 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 ha. Despite his perplexed appearance, the villain laughed hysterically. I was out having a good time with bats when someone destroyed my house. Ha ha ha. Who would have done such a thing? Joker yelled as he searched for clues. After a few minutes of examining, he noticed Harley wearing a jester's cap on top of one of his henchmen's faces. And that's when it struck him. The villain noticed Harley had been acting strangely recently and wasn't as cheerful as she used to be when he gave her orders. Could it be? She broke up with me. Ha 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 ha. Oh. He then observed that several of his subordinates were covered in leaves and vines. It appears like my ex-girlfriend had a helper. A house wrecker. Oh no. She was taken from me. Of course, you know what this means, war. She is definitely suffering without me. Ha 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 ha. Joker laughed madly as he began aggressively kicking the lifeless henchman. Oh, woe is me. It's simply not the same. I need someone who can yell. Looks like I'll have to postpone my super secret plan for this weekend. As the Joker planned his strategy on the outskirts of the city, Batman returned to Wayne Manor after the Joker slipped through his grasp. He drove his Batmobile via the hidden door to the Batcave, where he removed his costume and changed in civilian clothing before taking the elevator to the house. When he arrived, he was approached by his longtime friend and father figure, Alfred, who served as his butler. Master Bruce. You have returned. The elderly butler stated, inclining his head slightly as he exhaled a sigh of relief. He recognizes the significance of Bruce's actions as Batman, yet he remains concerned for his well-being. Has our guest arrived? Bruce inquired, accepting the cup of freshly brewed tea from the silver platter held by Alfred. The warm cup provided a degree of comfort to his fatigued hands. The individual you mentioned did not arrive, Alfred stated, shaking his head. Is that correct? Affirmative. The communicator you provided to him experienced a loss of signal in Crest Hill. Bruce winced upon receiving the news, swiftly finished his tea, set the cup back on the platter, and proceeded to the concealed elevator. Master Bruce. What are your plans moving forward? The morning is approaching. I will notify the Justice League regarding this issue, and I need to verify a few details. I have become accustomed to a lack of sleep, Alfred. I understand. A new day had dawned in the city of Gotham, with residents beginning to rise and prepare for their daily routines. Nevertheless, Naruto was resting soundly in a small bed that felt unusually warm for some reason. While he was asleep, Kurama made an effort to communicate with him in his dreams. However, due to the incident from the previous night, the young dragon's successor remained unresponsive. This individual. He inadvertently depleted his energy reserves to assist that unpredictable individual. What was it about him that created a unique connection between us? I could have empowered another individual to effectively govern their own nation by this point. Shortly after Kurama expressed his grievances, he sensed the awakening of the successor. My head, Naruto murmured, gradually opening his eyes, only to be momentarily overwhelmed by the sunlight streaming in from a nearby window. You are quite mistaken. What occurred to me? He expressed a soft groan while gently massaging his head. You have exerted yourself excessively in your efforts to rescue that individual. Your dragonic essence has been overdrafted. What is happening? Ugh, why do I feel this way? Naruto paused his thoughts, becoming aware of a presence breathing beside him. He turned to his right to observe, and he almost exclaimed at what he saw. It was indeed Harley. Harley without her makeup and her typical attire. She was dressed in a white printed t-shirt featuring a clown face, complemented by red panties that accentuated her legs. Naruto wished to shift his position, but the villainess was firmly attached to his side, nestled against his shoulder with her legs entwined around his. He felt a strong inclination to gently pat her head, as the eccentric woman appeared rather endearing in her slumber. However, an irate voice interrupted his thoughts. "Please remain still." He turned his gaze to the right and observed Pamela, who was frowning at him while standing in the doorway with her arms crossed. Her skin had taken on a green hue, and she was adorned in a red-laced nightgown, complemented by a robe draped elegantly over her shoulders. "Could you please clarify my current location?" Naruto inquired, analyzing his environment. At present, he found himself in a bedroom adorned with white walls, featuring a variety of items scattered about, suggesting that the occupant had recently relocated. A few plants were positioned around, and upon seeing Pamela, Naruto recognized that it was likely her handiwork. "Regrettably, you are currently in my apartment. I was not anticipating having two guests, however." She expressed her displeasure with a low growl. "Harley, please wake up. Just 5 more minutes, please." The blonde whispered softly as she nestled closer to Naruto. "Harley." Harley slowly opened her eyes. "I am awake-o." She observed that the man she had brought home, contrary to Pamela's preferences, was now awake. "Greetings, Mr. Hero." She softly expressed her admiration while gliding a finger along his defined chest. Upon experiencing the sensation, Naruto became aware that his shirt was absent, leaving him attired only in his pants. "Cease the frivolity, Harley. He must depart immediately," Pamela exclaimed as the plants in the room began to increase in size. "Absolutely not. I desire him." Harley asserted herself, firmly holding Naruto's body with considerable strength while leaning her chest against him. Naruto offered a wry smile. "I have matters to attend to, regardless. Thank you for your attention to my needs." "Absolutely not. Please do not depart. Please consider staying for a while," the individual with blonde hair stated before directing her attention to Pamela. "Kindly. Could he remain for a few additional hours? He is both a hero and a distinguished individual." Pamela displayed a look of discontent. "However, he rescued me. That is what those misguided heroes do. They also rehabilitate antagonists. Individuals with malicious intent do not come to the aid of others. Are you suggesting that you would not assist me in a time of need?" Harley inquired, her lips pursed, presenting a notably pitiable expression. "Yes." Frustration expressed. Pamela places her hand on her forehead in frustration. "That is not the main focus. Furthermore, this individual had the opportunity to escape at any moment, given the skills he demonstrated last night. Is that correct, Mr. Hero?" Harley remarked, turning back to Naruto, who was genuinely appreciating the current situation. Internally, he was striving to manage his thoughts and hands, which were eager to take action. Harley exhibited an eccentric personality, yet her acrobatic physique, honed through relentless combat, was undeniably captivating. Additionally, she possessed remarkable beauty. Nevertheless, he recalled Kurama's remarks regarding his immunity to poison and the limitations of mind control. Poison ivy remained a notable concern. It appears that as long as Harley maintained her grip on him, he was safe from any actions on her part. "I am currently in the process of determining my future direction. However, I am certain that I do not wish to become a member of the Justice League," Naruto remarked, nonchalantly shrugging his shoulder. "You should reconsider the notion of being a hero and embrace the role of a villain like us. It is quite enjoyable. You have the opportunity to engage in theft and violence repeatedly." Harley chuckled softly. She then offers a subtle smile as she gradually leans in, "And perhaps we can engage in a bit of," Pamela responded with a firm, "Absolutely not. We will discuss this further at a later time." Harley leaned in close to Naruto, playfully nibbling on his ear before gracefully getting out of bed. "Excuse me." Naruto was astonished. "Pammy, may he stay?" Pamela pinched the bridge of her nose and sighed, "You will eventually be the cause of my demise, and I am not jesting." After several minutes of persuasion, Pamela ultimately agreed to Harley's request to permit Naruto to remain until noon. Once the situation calmed, Naruto got out of bed and located the remaining portion of his clothing on the floor. He subsequently recalled it into his ring without hesitation, having become quite accustomed to it over the past month. What was that? Harley inquired with enthusiasm upon witnessing the clothes vanish before her eyes. It is one of my competencies. Naruto presented a facade of honesty. I possess the ability to make certain items vanish and then re-emerge. He provided an explanation while attired in a black long-sleeve shirt and loose-fitting khaki sweatpants featuring a drawstring. Some may question how Naruto managed to have regular clothes within his item storage ring, considering he primarily remained in his room. Alisa previously addressed this issue when she observed that he had been wearing the same clothing for an entire week. She took the initiative to purchase several outfits for him. The uniform he wore last night was, in fact, part of the item storage ring from the outset, alongside many other items he had yet to address. How was he able to afford the rent for the apartment? He took the money from the gang he subdued while rescuing her and her brother. Impressive. Harley inhaled sharply. At this point, you could certainly take on the role of a villain. It is quite simple to take items without detection. He could, Pamela murmured to herself, observing the men with increased interest. Indeed, that is correct. Is there a specific name associated with Mr. Hero? I would appreciate the opportunity to learn more about it. Harley smiled, revealing her bright white teeth. This is Naruto. He responded with a smile. Naruto, Naruto. She reiterated while softly caressing her chin. Harley aimed to engrave that name in her memory forever, as she would always remember the impact he had on her life. Naruto inquired with a raised eyebrow, "What is it?" "There is nothing to report." Harley promptly responded while shaking her head. "What are your reasons for not wanting to collaborate with the Justice League? It would be a significant honor for an individual of your caliber to join them." Pamela inquired, moving slightly closer to him. "I have my reasons." Naruto responded while taking a step back. "You are an incredibly attractive woman, and I would appreciate the opportunity to connect with you again. However, I understand your intentions." He contemplated while smiling at her. "It seems you are applying your reasoning now," Kurama remarked, slightly rolling his eyes. "Please be quiet." Observing this, Pamela furrowed her brow and began to move closer to him once more, but she was then interrupted by Harley. "Do you require nourishment?" she inquired of Naruto, gazing intently into his eyes. "Certainly, I can." He was abruptly guided by the villainess, redirecting Pamela as she escorted him into the kitchen. "Hello. We currently do not have any food available," Pamela shouted, pursuing them. Harley paused suddenly. "Oh, well, it will be takeout then. It appears that financial resources are lacking." Pamela expressed her disdain. "Indeed, you have a point." The woman with blonde hair frowned. "Do I possess financial resources?" Naruto stated. "Is that so?" "Excellent actually, no. You are the esteemed guest. I must address this matter promptly." Harley sighed in frustration as she tapped her forehead, diligently seeking a solution. She then directed her attention to Pamela and immediately conceived an idea. "Greetings, Pamela, may I request some financial assistance?" she implored. Pamela appeared to be swayed by Harley's pleading, as shortly thereafter, they were both dressed and on their way to a breakfast location. Two individuals with a criminal background and one less informed person go out to dine. What initially appeared to be the beginning of a joke turned out to be a genuine account. The two were attired differently from their usual style and both donned sunglasses as an additional measure of caution. Nevertheless, the trio commanded attention, as the presence of an attractive man accompanied by two elegant women was indeed a striking visual. Many men experienced feelings of jealousy and quietly expressed their frustrations, while others longed for the opportunity to swap places with Naruto. He sensed multiple gazes directed at him, yet, for some reason, it did not evoke any negative feelings. This is the experience of evoking envy in others. He spoke quietly. "What is the reason for engaging with these two individuals? I have numerous concepts I would like to impart to you. What is the reason for this? The sole motivation is my desire to do so." He displayed a subtle smile. "Moving forward, I will embrace a lifestyle that aligns with my personal desires. Since last night, I have experienced a sense of improvement and liberation. It is quite remarkable how I have transformed." However, it is a positive experience and I do not have any negative feelings towards it. He observed the sky with a smile. The sky appears to be quite limited in size. He spoke softly, his red eyes glimmering as Pamela instinctively took a step back. What was that? She contemplated after sensing a nearby threat. Could you please repeat that? Harley inquired. No response, Naruto replied, shaking his head. I have just conceived a promising idea. Do you have a suggestion? Harley contemplated as she observed him. She began to formulate her own ideas. The particularly unfavorable type, indeed. Following a meal, Harley expressed a desire to spend additional time with Naruto. However, she was interrupted by Pamela. We should not remain outside for an extended period. We are individuals who operate outside the law, if you recall. She spoke softly as they navigated the streets of Gotham. Could we possibly engage in some enjoyable activities? Harley responded, securing her arm around Naruto's, holding onto him firmly. A broad smile then appeared on her lips as she leaned in closer to him. Are you interested in having some fun? We will conduct some. Pamela abruptly intervened, stating, that's sufficient. She expressed her displeasure with a low growl. I will not allow you to take her from me. She regarded Naruto with a sharp glare, to which he responded with a nonchalant shrug. I should proceed now. I have several tasks to complete. Naruto offered a smile, casually shrugging his shoulders. No. Please do not abandon me. Harley raised her voice, capturing the attention of several passers-by. A highly unpredictable partner is on the loose, they all thought before they continued on their way. It is likely that they will inform others about them at a later time. You are not permitted to leave. Not at this time. Kindly. She stated, drawing Naruto into a firm embrace, resting her face against his chest. I kindly request that you refrain from this action. Pamela promptly displayed a frown in response to this reaction. She recognized that she had developed some fondness for the villainess during their previous collaboration. Harley had ended her relationship with the Joker after multiple instances of being dismissed by him, yet here she was, showing admiration for another man. I will ensure he is completely dedicated to my cause, leaving no opportunity for him to reconnect with Harley. I simply need to establish proximity to him. Following a brief discussion, Pamela consented to allow Naruto to visit during the evening. I intend to meet with him at an earlier date, however. Pamela smiled subtly, casting a seed towards Naruto's back, which promptly developed into a small plant humanoid avatar that attached itself to his shirt without his awareness. You better not forget, or I will come looking for you, Harley stated with an innocent smile, yet Naruto found it more intimidating than the glare of a certain plant lady directed at him. I will not, Naruto responded with a dismissive gesture. After their separation, Naruto located a discreet motel to check in at. The value was satisfactory for the cost, and the lack of inquiries made it an ideal choice for him at that time. Naruto surveyed the room briefly before securing the door, initiating mental communication with Kurama. Unprepared. He stated as he mentally geared himself to enhance his strength. One day he will possess the strength to actualize the idea he conceived moments ago to establish his own group or company to generate income for himself. However, he must understand that he can handle whatever challenges the world presents, as he will not align himself strictly with good or evil. He will seek a balanced approach and pursue his desired lifestyle without external influence on his choices. Let us commence. Kurama responded with enthusiasm. Numerous concepts were elucidated to Naruto during the hours he conversed with the dragon. The initial realization he had was that only a small portion of his being was dragon. Kurama clarified that his circumstances are unprecedented, as it is customary for dragons to transfer their powers solely to other dragons. However, as he continues to grow stronger, he will ultimately become a fully realized dragon. What occurred with them? Naruto inquired. We were devastated by those we considered friends and our protectors. I will share the story with you, but at this moment, I prefer not to discuss it, Kurama stated with a hint of bitterness. Understood. There are various stages of a dragon, which are outlined as follows: Emerging Dragon, Dragon Baron, Dragon Viscount, Dragon Earl, Dragon Marquis, Dragon Duke, Divine Dragon Emperor, Divine Dragon Deity. At present, Naruto is still in the early stages of development, Yet even at this point, he demonstrates strength and speed that surpasses that of an average human. Each stage offers a distinct power-up in addition to the standard enhancement in strength. At the Baron stage, Naruto would have the capability to utilize a breath attack. He did not find that particularly remarkable, however. What captivated him was the potential of what he could achieve with that fire. As the successor of the Golden Dragon, he possessed the ability to wield various elements, including ice and lightning. At the Viscount stage, the dynamics become increasingly intriguing, as he gains the ability to utilize dragon magic, including the summoning of dragon guards, entities that serve their master without reservation. Dragon guards do not possess magical abilities, however. Their strength may rival that of a dragon earl, who is reputed to have the capacity to devastate an entire county within a single night. It appears we are discussing the dragon guards. It would be beneficial to have individuals supporting me. What are the best methods to increase my strength? He inquired. Dragons possess inherent strength from birth, however. To enhance their power, it is essential to increase the quantity of draconic essence within their bodies, which is stored in the heart. Dragons possess the capability to transform the energies of the universe into their own through the process of absorption. The air quality in this area is suboptimal, however. There are remnants of energy available for absorption. Please have a seat. Naruto acknowledged and took a seat on the bed. Please close your eyes and focus. Share with me your sensations. Upon closing his eyes, Naruto began to recall the lessons imparted by Jiraiya and focused on clearing his mind of irrelevant distractions. He would deliberately reduce his breathing to a minimal pace, eliminating any sounds that could be deemed distracting. Naruto remained in this position for nearly 30 minutes, yet despite the duration, he still felt nothing. I am experiencing a lack of emotion. It appears that there may be a need for increased effort. Attempt once more. He took a deep breath and concentrated again, making a determined effort to perceive any signs. However, he was unable to do so, and nearly a full hour would pass. I am still unable to perceive any sensations. Could you provide an explanation of what I am attempting to perceive? Certainly, excellent. Naruto displayed a smile. No. What is happening? Why not? He reacted abruptly. Each dragon experiences a unique process. No two dragons utilize the same energy for cultivation. While you may assume the role of my successor, the only aspects we transfer are a slight enhancement in strength and the capacity to contain additional dragon essence. Only individuals at the level of Dragon Duke and higher possess the capability to do this. The majority of dragons do not reach the 5th stage. To enhance the strength of our race, we have developed a method to transfer a portion of our strength to those we consider deserving. Is it due to my human nature that I am unable to perceive any energy? Long ago, prior to the formation of the elemental nations, humans possessed the ability to cultivate using the same energy. Nonetheless, their approach differs significantly from ours. Are you aware of the cultivation methods they employed? Perhaps it could provide me with some insight. Naruto reflected on Kurama's assertion that his circumstances were distinctive. Certainly, I am not aware of their cultivation methods. What is the rationale for focusing on those who may be less capable than myself? Even the most formidable of their kind could not withstand the strength of one of my claws. Impressive. Naruto considered, slightly exasperated. However, he found it quite impressive, though he chose not to disclose this to Kurama. The connection between him and Kurama is somewhat unusual, as the dragon can only hear his thoughts when he chooses to do so. However, this also applies in reverse. Otherwise, he is certain that he would face greater challenges in managing interactions with him on a daily basis. I had the ability to command the heavens with a single roar. I possessed the capability to effortlessly traverse the earth with a single movement of my claw. I had a vast number of dragons at my command. I was sought after by individuals from various races beyond my own. I governed with. Kurama abruptly became quiet while elaborating on his magnificence. Governed with what? Please refrain from communicating with me, Kurama exclaimed before unleashing a powerful roar that surprised Naruto and induced a degree of discomfort. I require some time to reflect. Continue to attune to the energy, do not cease, as doing so may hinder your ability to sense it again for an extended period. The night has finally descended upon Gotham. A period marked by a significant rise in criminal activity, during which the city's guardian, known as Batman, patrols the streets to ensure safety and security. Nevertheless, he was unaware that one of the city's notorious criminals was leisurely walking in plain sight, without any intention of theft or disruption. The individual in question had other intentions, specifically concerning a man named Naruto. "Soon you will be under my influence, and I will utilize your capabilities until they are fully exhausted," Pamela murmured to herself. She informed Harley that she had an important task to attend to, yet the blonde remained largely disengaged as she awaited Naruto's visit. Previously, she had deployed one of her avatars onto him, allowing her to monitor it to a degree, although their connection was being disrupted by some interference. After extensive searching, she ultimately reached the location, which turned out to be a motel, ideal for her needs as they would not inquire further. However, as a precaution, the man at the front desk was taken aback by the striking woman who had just entered the motel, prompting him to adjust his posture and clear his throat. "Welcome, ma'am. How can I assist you today?" The man hesitated as his gaze moved up and down her figure. The individual with red hair was dressed in a short red dress that ended just above the knees, accentuating her long, elegant legs adorned with opaque black thigh-high stockings. She wore black red bottom heels that produced a sharp tapping sound with every step she took. "I sincerely hope you can assist me," the woman stated, allowing her black coat to drape off her shoulders as she leaned across the desk. Upon the woman's approach, the men began to experience a sense of nervousness accompanied by a hint of arousal. The woman's eyes were a striking forest green, her skin remarkably fair, and her full lips appeared almost enticing, prompting an audible gulp from the front desk worker. "Ah. Oh." Before the man could articulate his thoughts once more, he sensed a cloudiness enveloping his mind, and soon the woman before him became his sole focus. "I am seeking assistance, could you please provide me with the information?" She gestured a kiss towards him as a pink gas was released from her mouth, enveloping his face. "Certainly, I will assist, I hold deep affection for you," the gentleman remarked, gazing intently into her eyes. "Satisfactory." At this moment, Naruto was actively attempting to perceive the energy in the environment, and fortuitously, he began to sense something. It felt unusual, almost as if it were non-existent. However, he sensed a warm sensation enveloping him. As he concentrated on the sensation, the warmth intensified, and he instinctively began to accumulate that warmth within himself. Initially, there was a slight discomfort, but it quickly transitioned to a sense of relief, prompting a deep sigh of satisfaction. He became so absorbed in the sensation that he was oblivious to the sound of someone in heels approaching down the hallway. Stay tuned for more. Thank you for watching this amazing video. If you enjoyed it, please consider liking and subscribing to my channel for more content. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.